the coaching, I both coached Griffin and Dylan in youth football, but that had just ended. It was Dylan's season had just ended, and when Griffin passed away, and so then, as I said, my mom, she had prior to Griffin passing away, though, it was a Mother's Day, actually the day after Mother's Day that very year, she found out she had stage 4 uterine cancer. And so she survived just a lethal surgery where they removed a lot. And so she somehow survived that, only to 8 months later pass away. And so there was kind of a rough time there where, for me, it felt like everybody was going, nobody was coming.
Yeah.
And so, I that led me to a serious bout of depression, to the point where in August of 2015, I actually shot myself and in the head, underneath the chin, and with the intention of not being here. And so, as I look back now, everything I didn't have to live for, I now have to live for. And so it was just a period of time where life was tough. And it was, once you get down, what my experience is, once I got down that low, it didn't feel like it was ever going to end. And unless I ended it.
Hey everybody, it's Aldo Gandhi, and I just want to let you know really quickly that our swag shop is reopened. DeepDishTees.com is where you go, and that's tees with T-E-E-S. Clever name, guys. They're the new home of our merchandise. You can get t-shirts, you can get caps, you can get coffee mugs, you can get hoodies, you can get all sorts of good stuff, and you'll help out the bar room with the purchase. So head over to DeepDishTees.com.
What's up, and welcome back to Bar Down Blackhawk Talk, episode number 23, presented by the Barroom Network. My name is Vinny Parisi, and I'm here with Joey Parisi. And Joseph, you always give me that dumb little smirk right before I start talking, and it almost throws me off, and it never does.
Because I see you have a little smirk, and then I give my little smirk, and then your smirk grows, and then
we're smirking together.
And then you're bound to fuck up. You even fucked it up just then. You usually say my brother Joey Parisi.
I switch off. No.
I
switch off. No.
For the people listening, yes, I am his brother. See, now they don't know that.
I mean, if you don't know that,
I don't think if there are people who think we look alike. I've had people think we're twins. I don't see it one bit. We look like cousins. I have cousins who I think I look more similar to than you.
Okay, now you're going a little too far.
I'm not. I don't think we look anything alike. I'm looking right now. Nothing.
All right, you're out of your mind a little bit. And when you look up at the names, you can see they're probably related.
If you think Vinny and I look alike, feel free to chime in the comments. But I don't see it.
Okay,
are we wearing the same hat?
We are.
Oh, that's a first. That's a bar down. Coincidentally, a bar down first.
It sure is. It won't be the last time. Episode 23. 23 is a big number in town. No?
Yeah, I was just looking. This is after this show. We have 3 more shows with 0 live hockey, NHL hockey. preseason starts.
Let's go. I loved hearing that. That gave me goosebumps.
Preseason starts on September 25th, I believe. I don't think any of our teams play, but I mean, hockey's hockey. It gives us something to watch.
Yeah, I watch club hockey. Like, what are we talking about here? But 23. Got any 23s you like? I know every team in Chicago, except for the Blackhawks, if I remember correctly, oddly enough, has like a significant all-time great number 23. So obviously for the Chicago Bulls, it's the GOAT. It's Michael Jordan. In the Chicago Bears realm, I would say Devin Hester is a worthy 23 of being mentioned here. He's probably the greatest kick returner in the history of the sport. And if you're a special teams belong in the Hall of Fame guy, then he's going to be first ballot. The Cubs, it's Ryan Sandberg, of course, all-time great Cub. The White Sox have 2. You tell me who you think is more valuable, Robin Ventura or Jermaine Dye. I'm taking the World Series MVP personally, and then the Hawks, like Chris Versteeg, maybe.
Yeah, I literally was looking at the list of Blackhawks to wear number 23. It's a hefty list. There's 20 or
watch there be 23 players to wear 23.
I don't know how to like unminimize it. There's a decent amount. Most recently, obviously, there's a current Philip Kurashev.
Oh, yeah. Kurashev does wear 23.
Brandon Manning and Chris Versteeg, Jeff Taft.
Brandon Manning stunk.
Yeah, and then there's players prior to that.
Yeah, well, I like 23. It's a good number. You rock them old Michael Jordan jersey, you're cool. You're just a little bit cooler than everyone else.
Yeah.
Any 23 Bruins that come to mind? I know Michael Camilleri wore it for the Devils, and then he switched to 13. That's before Nico came along.
The most recent number 23 that comes to mind, and I don't want to like fuck this up and forget about a current 23 because that'll look bad on me. But now my
already kind of does.
Now the website's tweaking. Well, the most recent that comes to mind is Chris Kelly. I just when I see 23, I think of Chris Kelly, and it makes sense. He's now an assistant coach with the team. So that's the most. I'll look it up for you. I'll get that in a second.
Yeah. What about you?
New Jersey Devils, favorite
23, Michael Camilleri. It's not a significant number with the Devils. I wouldn't say like it's a Chicago thing for me. I think at 23, I think of how like ironic it is that like 4 of the 5 men's pro sports teams, like the professional ones, they all have a significant 23. And Chris Versteeg is like probably the best for the Hawks, but like he was a great player for them for a couple years. He was a solid third line player, wouldn't you say?
I'm sorry. I have to laugh at and pull up Santiago's comment. He says, "We don't look alike. You look like a lawyer, and I look like your client."
I'm the smart guy.
And
you're the guy who like fucked up and needs a lawyer to represent them.
Yeah. And what's up, Laro? Thanks for chiming in here. And I was right. I don't feel bad about me not being able to rifle off the most recent number 23 because the 2 after Chris Kelly were prospects. You got Jakob Forsbacka Karlsson and Jack Stanika.
I thought Forsbacka Karlsson was going to be so sick.
JFK, yeah.
Yeah, he blew. And with that, we'd like to send you to period number 1. We got something in the National Hockey League that we don't see hardly ever, unfortunately, because they're funny. And I'm talking about an offer sheet. And an offer sheet is when a restricted free agent doesn't receive a contract pre-arbitration and another team can send them an offer sheet. And if the player signs said offer sheet from offer sheeting team, then the team that he's currently on has 2 options. Let him go and be compensated based on the contract or match the offer sheet. So, for example, if Joey plays for the Boston Bruins and I play for the New Jersey Devils, Joey gets offer sheeted by the Devils $6 million. The Bruins can either let Joey come to the Devils for $6 million and take a first and a third round draft pick, or they can match it and pay Joey $6 million. So basically what it is another team forcing a team to pay that player at least a minimum. And that happened in the NHL. Last week, the Carolina Hurricanes sent a $6 million offer sheet to Montreal Canadiens forward Jesperi Kotkaniemi. your initial thoughts on that before we get into the details.
I'll give you my initial thoughts in a second. I pulled up a little bit more about an NHL offer sheet, and there are 5 things that a player must, there's 5 things that must happen in order for a player to be allowed an offer sheet. He must have at least one NHL contract expire.
Okay.
He must have played in at least 80 NHL games if forward or defenseman, 28 if a goalie. Be younger than 27 years old on July 1st of that year. Be without a contract for the upcoming season. And be tendered a qualifying offer by the current team by June 25th or the Monday after that year's NHL entry draft. So,
Interesting.
I mean, that's very interesting. I didn't know there was that many rules behind it, and like determine, because you can't offer sheet anyone. Essentially, is what that means. My initial thoughts to Carolina doing it for Kotkaniemi, I think it's hilarious because there's some history.
And for those who don't know, 2 summers ago, pre-COVID.
I also have a list of every NHL offer sheet we'll get into ever. But yes, it was on July 1st, 2019.
Yes, that's what I thought. The Montreal Canadiens sent an offer sheet to Carolina Hurricanes superstar Sebastian Aho. That created all sorts of tension because nobody does it. It's almost like an unwritten rule not to submit an offer sheet because it's one organization kind of screwing another organization in every way, because now they have a minimum salary that player is going to make. Kotkaniemi will make no less than $6 million next year, no matter where he plays now. And it's just kind of not like always in good faith.
Chance in front, Kotkaniemi, cross ice, score!
And as you can see, Kotkaniemi is a very good player.
Yeah.
For the Montreal Canadiens. They offered him this contract offer sheet 2 years after Montreal did it to them. And every time an offer sheet is submitted, a team gives an official statement on the offer sheet. And Carolina took the statement given by Montreal and switched out the names and the price and used that as their official statement on the offer sheet. So all it does is tell me that they did it out of spite. They think they're funny, and they kind of are funny. Because another funny thing, when Montreal did it to Aho, the Canes obviously matched it because it was kind of like a weak offer sheet. They only offered him $8 million. If Montreal really had some balls, they would have offered him like $10 million because he's a great player and he's worth it. But they offered him a signing bonus on the offer sheet worth $20 million. $20 million. 20 is Sebastian Aho's jersey number. So it's just savagery all around from the Carolina Hurricanes. They're recreating the same exact message and switching the names. They're offering him a signing bonus with their player's number. It's comedy. It's comedy. It's payback. It's everything you'd want to see. It's almost like a WWF like situation going on here.
Mm-hmm. The only difference is the one that Montreal offered to Carolina for Sebastian Aho was real. It was about as real as you can get. Like, it was a 5-year contract for $42.27 million.
Yeah.
Carolina's just doing it for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but if he comes, he'll be an RFA again after this season, and they'll probably extend him knowing no one's going to, they're trying to get this guy.
Yeah. Well, obviously, a guy like Kotkaniemi, that would be a good player to have, and I think that's very reasonable at a one-year, $6 million contract, don't you?
Where would he rank? I do. Where would he rank in terms of players on Carolina? You can narrow it down to forwards or all skaters in general, because that team's freaking good.
Yeah, I definitely think he would be a top 6 guy, like without question.
Oh, in their forward lineup?
Even for Carolina?
Without question.
Yeah.
And he's probably their 4th best forward if he went there.
And I
would say Sebastian Aho is their best player. Svechnikov is their 2nd best player, and Teuvo Teravainen is probably just a tad bit better than Kotkaniemi, but barely. I don't know. It's close.
Yeah.
No, Teravainen's better.
Another thing is, I think it would absolutely hurt the Canadiens. Like, they need this guy. Right? Wouldn't you agree?
That's where we disagree.
How do you figure? The Canadiens don't have as much depth.
If I were Montreal, I'd let him go. I would take, because for those who don't know, your compensation for letting players go in offer sheets depends on the player, how much they were offered, how many years. In this particular case, it would be a first and third round pick headed to Montreal from Carolina if he signs the offer sheet and they let him go. I would do it if I were Montreal.
Do you have access to your Twitter right now? Because did they
do.
accept that?
Huh?
Did Montreal allow it?
Not to my knowledge.
Because I went on.
Unless it's breaking news.
I went on Cap Friendly, and Kakko Niemi is a rostered player for the Carolina Hurricanes, and it says he is on a $6 million contract. He was acquired via offer sheet, just as it says for Sebastian Aho.
Really?
Yeah, it says that on Cap Friendly.
Well, we're going to have to do some digging on that. I've always heard you have 10 days to make your decision.
Yeah, if you need the 10 days, let me go to Montreal's, because I was going to look at their roster and see where we're at cap wise, but it's saying Kakko Niemi is the third highest paid player on the Carolina Hurricanes forward wise, making on a 1-year deal, making $6.1 million.
Yeah, maybe he's just on that roster until the offer sheet deal is taken care of.
He is not on the Montreal Canadiens Cap Friendly website.
Interesting. They haven't tweeted about it at all. And I know for a fact they would have had he been sent over to Carolina. Like Montreal would have said thank you or something to him. There's no way this is just done.
So
they haven't even accepted it yet.
I know. That's what I'm saying. If either Cap Friendly knows something we don't, or...
To my knowledge, Kakko Niemi hasn't even signed the offer sheet yet.
Listen,
no, he might have. Otherwise, they probably.
I'm just telling you what I'm seeing right now.
Carolina. No, I get what you're saying. Cap Friendly, the dude who runs it, they know their stuff.
Yeah, if you see a trade happen, you get a notification. You go to Cap Friendly, it's already in the system.
It's crazy. Cap Friendly, sweet. So you would sign Kakko Niemi if you were Montreal?
If I was Montreal, I'd give him the $6 million for 1 year.
I don't know. A first and a third, man. It was a bad draft pick.
Who are some of the top players that for Montreal? If they want to be competitive this year, they need Kakko Niemi.
Well, I don't think they're going to be. I really don't. Because they lost Tatar. Shea Weber's gone. Drouin is back. Credit to Drouin. I didn't really realize this. He took all of last year off to get himself right mentally. It was like a mental health issue, and he took care of it. And he announced he's going to be back next season, and I'm so proud of him. That means a lot to me to hear that.
See, the forward group for Montreal, I'm looking at, it's a very spread out forward group. There's no guy who's making 15% of their cap.
Yeah, no, they don't have a Patrick Kane or a Jack Hughes or
you look at their top guys. You got Brendan Gallagher, Jonathan Drouin, Josh Anderson. They just signed Mike Hoffman. I kind of forgot about that. Who can easily be a 30-goal guy given the right line mates and so forth. Mm-hmm. Tyler Toffoli, we know how amazing he was for them. He's
a great player.
And then there's guys who are on their entry level deal down there, who like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. So I mean, I don't think this team's gonna be as bad as having no Shea Weber is gonna really hurt them, but I don't think this team's gonna be as bad as you think, and I think it's even better if you have a guy like Kakko Niemi.
I think the issue is the division. Tampa Bay is better. Boston is better. Florida is better. And Toronto is better.
You say Florida weird. You're like Florida.
You say everything weird.
I'm just saying. It's Florida, not Florida.
Florida. Give him a penalty.
Florida.
You threw me off track. Montreal's the 5th best team in the division. The Leafs are better. You won't admit it because you're a hater. You think Montreal's better than Toronto?
I think they could beat them in a playoff series again.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they'll get to said playoff series, though. The Leafs, they're like the choke team. They get to the playoffs and they lose. They could have 100 points. They're
I don't know,
going
if
to have a great season. I'm warning you right now. The Toronto Maple Leafs are going to have a phenomenal regular season. They might get bounced in the first round by the Bruins or my Florida Panthers. Like, I'm all in on the Leafs having a great year. Austin Matthews might have 55 goals. John Tavares might have 100 points. Mitch Marner might have 50 assists. I mean, yeah.
Obviously, like, my main focus is, my team doing well in that division. I really don't care about, as long as my team does well, that I shouldn't have to worry about how the other teams do. I hate scoreboard watching. What I mean by that is, like, if the Bruins just, stick to their game, I shouldn't have to hope that the Ottawa Senators beat the Leafs like in February.
No, I don't think you will. I think the Habs will.
Okay, so with that being said, obviously my bias aside, I think the Canadians are going to be a little better than you think, and I think they're going to give Toronto a run for their money in the standings.
So you got Toronto. I got Toronto as the third best team in the division.
See,
and I think the team that comes in fourth ends up winning the cup.
You think Florida's?
I like the Panthers.
I know you do.
In the playoffs. They have to get there. They are built for the playoffs. I'm sorry. That's just the way I see it. Like, Toronto might be the pub stars. Like, they dominate through the regular season. They got Matthews and Marner doing their thing, and Nylander's sick. And then the playoffs come around. It's like that doesn't really ever translate. Year after year, it's like hitting your head into a wall 1,000 straight times. With the Panthers, they might give a little in the regular season to take a little in the playoffs. They seem to be that kind of team. Like, Coach Q is their coach, right? They have Barkov, who is like Jonathan Taves reincarnated. Jonathan Huberdeau, he's not really quite like Patrick Kane, maybe, but he, top 10 winger in the league. So I don't know. I would probably consider signing Kakaniemi if I'm the Habs just for that reason, because I'm behind the 8 ball. But I honestly think the right decision would be to let him go and take your picks. Like, in the long grand scheme of things, I think that would be the right move.
Yeah. So how does that work? You just automatically get their picks?
It depends. It depends on.
That doesn't seem worth it. Why would any team not accept that?
Wait,
if you're saying Montreal would, you're saying Montreal would get picks from Carolina if they accept
first and a third, if they allow him to walk.
I mean, at that point, why wouldn't you take that? That's
what I'm saying. I think the proper move is to let Kakaniemi go to Carolina.
It's not like Kakaniemi. Like, Kakaniemi is good, but it's not like I'll. There's some players on this list. Whenever you're ready, I can get into that. But there are some players but I don't think he's one of those guys where it's like, we need to keep him.
No, it was a bad draft pick. He's a good player, bad draft pick.
Wasn't he drafted the same year that the Hawks took Doc?
No. So it's funny because the first overall pick was Rasmus Dahlin. Remember, we were at Declan's.
That's what I'm saying.
With our pals, Chief and White Sox Dave, watching the draft, playing some shuffleboard. Dahlin went first. Svechnikov went third. Montreal took Kakaniemi when everyone thought they were going to take either Brady Tkachuk or Philip Zadina. Tkachuk went 4 to Ottawa. Who went 5? The kid.
Is that the 2018?
Yeah, the kid went to Arizona, the Coyotes, and then Zadina went 6 to Detroit. Quinn Hughes went 7 to Vancouver. That's where, and the Hawks took Boquist at 8. That's what I remember from that.
Adam Boquist. That's right.
Yeah, I remember the Devils ended up taking Ty Smith at 17, and if that draft were redone, he'd probably go top 10.
Yeah, I'm looking. I have the whole list right now. Who were you confused about?
I'm not confused about anything. I'm telling you that Kakaniemi probably was a bad draft pick. He's a good player, but he probably, if the draft were redone, would probably go like 9th or 10th.
Barrett Hayton went to the Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah, that was a bad pick too.
I've never even heard of that name.
And right now, Zadina, he was supposed to go 3rd, and he fell to Detroit at 6.
Mm-hmm. I remember, didn't he make his debut last year though?
Yeah. He's a good player. He hasn't done what some of these other rookies in that draft class have done yet. I agree with Frank. You take the picks if you're Montreal. It would make you better next year to keep him, but if I'm Mark Bergevin, the GM of the Montreal Canadiens, I'm looking at that division, and I got the defending Stanley Cup champions sitting right at the top, right? Tampa Bay. Then you got the Boston Bruins, who have probably been the best team overall in the last 10 years. If you just take the last 10 years, not looking at the playoffs, cups, the Hawks and the Kings and the Penguins dominated when it comes to cups. The Bruins got one, but in terms of the best team for the last 10 years, the Boston Bruins, okay, you got them. Now you have the Florida Panthers, who are the only team to give Tampa Bay a hard time in the postseason last year. The only team. But I don't care if it's because it's the interstate rivalry. It's like when the Cubs play the White Sox, no matter where they're in the standings, they're both going to play hard. I don't buy any of that. Florida is good. Now, then you have the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay. They have 4 guys who are capable of having 80 points. 2 of them might score 50 goals. Tavares and Matthews, right? Then you have
Shout out to Marner.
Marner can't score 50 goals.
Oh, I thought you said 50 points. You said points.
No, I said all 4 of them are capable of getting 80 points or more.
Oh.
And 2 of them could pop 50.
Tavares
and Matthews.
Goals.
He had 48 one year. Why not?
He can't.
He probably won't, but he can. And they have one guy who's capable of getting 60 assists in Marner. So, and Nylander's kind of like a mix of all of them. But then you have Ottawa. I think they're going to be bad, but I think they're going to be like better than the average bad team. Like they're going to make life hard on you. Kachuk is going to piss you off. They're going to get good. Who else? Oh, Detroit. Detroit's kind of right there with Ottawa. I still think they're like a year away, but they got some good young talent. It's the best division in the league, in my opinion, the Atlantic. And Buffalo stinks. Nobody's scared of them. Montreal smoked Buffalo, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll actually get into that because we'll talk about that like later on, or unless you want to just talk about it now. Eichel headed to Montreal with his sticks. He was seen boarding a flight with his sticks.
To where?
Montreal.
Eichel was
seen boarding a flight with his hockey sticks to Montreal. Obviously, that's going to make, Twitter.
But I don't get how that could at all make sense. He
I'm
would be a perfect fit for Montreal.
I know, and it would suck.
I think if the Habs could go for one person on the trade market, right? Dude.
Maybe Carolina just saved him by offer sheeting him,
take the picks and give him to Buffalo. We are freaking frack on that right now. Wow, we just uncovered the truth. Is he he's going to Montreal? Like he's going to practice there?
I don't know. I saw on Twitter, I couldn't tell you where I saw it. I just blindly scroll through Twitter that Eichel was headed on a flight to Montreal with his hockey sticks.
Does Montreal known for like, I know they're known for like delicious poutine and like the crazy strip club scene. Are they known for like having crazy surgeons that are like really good at performing neck surgery? Because that's what Jack Eichel really needs first and foremost, is a team that supports his medical needs. And that's where his frustration with Buffalo is coming in right now. But I mean, if Montreal can add a centerman like that, a top 10 NHL centerman, that's crazy.
That would be something. I'll let you know. And if I find the tweet again, I'll
don't worry about it right now. You know what I do think is funny? That you were worried about like these things just being stuff we talk about and like brush over. And we spent 30 minutes talking about the number 23 and the Montreal Canadiens.
Let me go through the list of offer sheeted players we're not going to obviously dive into, early NHL. The first ever offer sheet was in 1986. And it seems, as I'm looking through, pretty much every offer sheet, it's about 50-50, that was made pre-2000s. It was like a 50-50 chance that it didn't get matched.
Yeah.
And then in recent years, it's just all matched. The first ever one
is Shea Weber.
Well, hold on. The first ever one was Gary Nyland in 86. he was on the Leafs, and the Chicago Blackhawks offer sheeted him, and it was not matched. So the Hawks acquired Gary Nyland. Don't even know who that is. Recently, there's some cool names on here, actually. Recently, we have Kakoniemi, Sebastian Aho.
Yep.
2013, Ryan O'Reilly was offer sheeted by the Calgary Flames when he played for the Colorado Avalanche for a 2-year, $10 million contract.
Wow. 10?
For 2 years, so it was a 5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Yeah, it just shows me the full term. That'd be an AAV of 5.
Yeah. I didn't realize, obviously, Colorado signed it and then traded him to Buffalo a couple years later.
But that was 2013. So we're talking, 6 years. There's a 6-year gap between Montreal doing it to Carolina and the most recent one. Before that, 2012, Shea Weber was offer sheeted by the Philadelphia Flyers when he played for the Nashville Predators for a 14-year contract.
Some Kovalchuk type shit.
Yeah, and I guess Nashville matched it. 14 years, $110 million contract. Nashville signed Shea Weber for.
Yeah, that's crazy. I believe he is still on it.
He probably is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the same contract. It's got to be because he was traded 1-for-1 PK Subban.
Yeah.
And there's no renegotiating really in hockey. So that's crazy. He's still on the same contract he signed in 2012. I did not know that. 2010, the San Jose Sharks offer sheeted Nicholas Hjalmarsson when he played for the Chicago Blackhawks for a 4-year, $14 million contract.
Who?
Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
No, what team did that?
San Jose.
Imagine if he played for the Sharks. They might have won a cup.
Didn't the Hawks beat the Sharks?
In the 2010 conference finals.
Oh, they did, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if Hjalmarsson's on the Sharks in 2010.
Hjalmarsson, top 3 most underrated player of all time.
And then some more names that we'll know. In 2008, right before that, St. Louis offer sheeted Steve Bernier from the Vancouver Canucks on a 1-year deal in 2008. This one is really cool. 2008, July 1st, the Vancouver Canucks offer sheeted David Backes from the St. Louis Blues for a 3-year, $7.5 million contract.
Wow. Backey got an offer sheet.
That was back, prime David Backes. That was probably right before he became the captain.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a little surprised on the Hjalmarsson one. That's pretty sweet. The Hawks were like, nope, we're going to go win 3 cups with this guy as our 3rd best defenseman. Imagine that. Hjalmarsson's your 3rd best defenseman.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The most recent one to be matched or to be not matched was Dustin Penner, which the name rings a bell. I can't really.
Penner, you remember Penner?
I remember Penner. It rings a bell. It was in 2007.
Yeah, he was like a tough guy. Kind of.
He played for the Anaheim Ducks, and the Edmonton Oilers offer sheeted 5 years, $21.5 million, and it was not matched. And it says here that they got a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round pick in 2008 because of it.
I think Penner hangs out with Biz. I think and like Lucic and him are boys, if I remember correctly. I don't remember, but yeah, I remember Penner like big time.
So yeah, those are some of the recent names that we would know over the past 20 years or so.
Is social media going to influence offer sheets going forward?
Probably.
Because without social media, the Carolina Hurricanes probably never hear an uproar over Montreal doing it to Aho. And now they do it back to like kind of be funny and like savages. Part of me thinks yes. Social media frowns upon offer sheets because Joe Sakic got offer sheeted. Hjalmarsson did 10 plus years ago. Like
Ryan Kessler in 2006 got offer sheeted as well by the Flyers. The Flyers are a big culprit on this list.
Man, the Flyers, get your shit together, Flyers. But like everybody looks down on it, and it's like, the hell's the rule there for then?
If you're ever wondering how Scott Stevens signed his 4-year deal on July 4th, 1994, it's because the St. Louis Blues offer sheeted him.
Yeah. And do you know that led to the Devils getting Zach Parise?
Well, it says right here, maybe that's what you're talking about. It says right here, the Blues ordered to compensate Devils $1.4 million plus a first-round pick for tampering.
That first-round pick was in 2003. It was pick 30, and they traded it up to 17 from the Edmonton Oilers to select Zach Parise.
How do you know that?
I just know that. I knew that the Parise pick had something to do with Scott Stevens' offer sheet from the Blues 10 years prior.
So if the Blues never offer sheet Scott Stevens, you're saying you're not a Devils fan?
Probably not.
Wow. You should be a Blues fan.
Gloria. Gloria.
All right, that's all I got
Gloria.
on offer sheets. I learned more
Gloria.
about offer sheets today than I knew ever. I kind of hope my team. I hope the Bruins offer sheet someone.
I hope the Devils offer sheet Quentin Hughes. So then they got all three of the boys hanging out in Newark, drinking some great tasting, less filling Miller Lite, chilling on the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, back to that draft. Quinn Hughes at 7. If they were to redo this draft, Kakko Niemi probably.
I'd take Ty Smith over Kakko Niemi.
Ty Smith's
would.
on there.
I would do it.
Yeah,
Well,
there's still a lot of guys
air.
who haven't played yet. Ty Smith being 17 is decent. The Bruins don't have a pick this year because I believe.
Rick Nash?
No, this is the 18 entry draft.
Yeah, Rick Nash. They gave it to the Rangers. The Rangers had 2 picks.
But wasn't that the 2019?
No.
Oh, yeah, that was the 2018 season.
Yeah, the 2018 Stanley Cup. Rick Nash was not in the 2019 Bruins. Rick Nash did not play in the Stanley Cup final with the Bruins.
Yeah, you're right.
I am right.
Oh, did he?
No. No. He absolutely did not.
You're right. You're right.
In the second round with Rick Nash.
Right. Hey, when your team makes
Rick Nash, you don't win with Rick Nash. It was a dumb trade.
Sorry, when your team wins as many playoff series as mine, you lose track of who was on whose deadline.
You want to know something crazy? I used this to chirp a Leaf fan who was chirping me a couple weeks ago. The Devils haven't won a playoff series since 2012. Or they've only made the playoffs once since 2012. And they still have more playoff series wins in the last 15 years than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Doesn't surprise me one bit.
Because if you won one, you have more in that span than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. Kakko Niemi has more than Matthews, Marner, Nylander combined.
Yeah, and he's going to make half of what they all make. Well,
on an offer sheet.
Before we head on off this topic, because you didn't think we'd have enough to talk about with it, and we're getting close to touching 40 minutes, are the Hurricanes complete savages, and do you respect them for it?
They're a bunch of jerks. Yeah, I think the Hurricanes are definitely taking a step back, regardless of whether they get Kakko Niemi or not. With that being said, it's a win-win for them. They're doing it to be jerks, but if they get them, they're going to be happy about it. So I kind of respect the move.
I love spite. Oh, when it's not involving me, when I get to watch spite from other people, I get my popcorn and listen. And that's some heavy spite right there between Montreal and Carolina there. And with that, we would like to send you to a quick commercial break, followed by period number 2.
It's the Mikey Bet Show, the Mikey Bet Show. Do you know the Mikey Bet Show?
Coming this fall, the Barroom Network presents 2 fired up Bears fans. They are ready to rumble on the Bear Debate.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land. I shouldn't be singing that. They just smoked Team USA yesterday. And for those who don't know, they didn't smoke them. I'm talking about the World Championships for women. Team USA was defeated by Team Canada in overtime. And the women's all-time greatest player, Marie-Philippe Poulin, scored in overtime to give Team Canada the victory. And I got to tell you, man, that would be like if Team USA men's played Team USA women's in 1988. And the great one, Wayne Gretzky, scored in overtime to give the US the win. Or give Canada the win. That's what this is like. Marie-Philippe Poulin is the greatest women's hockey player of all time. And outside of our country losing, I said it wrong. It was 3-2, not 2-1. Her getting that game-winning goal is special because of what it means to the sport of hockey. She is just so great, and it's great for the sport. I know we lost as a country, but hockey as a sport won.
Yeah, she looked like me picking corners out there on that overtime goal that we just saw. No, that was obviously incredible. You got that look on your face. You got something to say?
Yeah, Marie-Philippe Poulin would join your dumb little league and score 50 goals a game.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it's incredible. We obviously know some of the great American female hockey players, but Canada, like, that's their thing, right? The US just recently beat them, and it was a huge deal.
The US women have been better in the last 5 years.
I guess overall, when you look at the Olympic stage, especially.
Yeah.
I don't know, the whole matchup with these smaller tournaments, but on the Olympic stage, you're definitely right about that. But yeah, that good for them.
Shout out to Hillary Knight. She broke the all-time world's, I think it's all combined, all women tournament competition combined. She became Team USA's all-time leading goal scorer. So Hillary Knight, we know how sweet she is. She's been really good for a long time. I believe she's Team USA's captain now. But, you got names throughout the years that we've come to know and have become famous, like Kendall Coyne, who is now Kendall Coyne Schofield. Hillary Knight, obviously. Amanda Kessel has been so great. Who are the twins that played for Canada? I'm blanking on their names right now. Jocelyn and her sister. I can't remember her sister's name. Either way, this is great hockey. And whenever those Canada USA women's games start to really heat up, it's must-watch puck. I mean, there's really not much else to say.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting when we look at the 2022 Olympics, and we got the women competing in that, because that's the biggest stage. That's the prime time international play when it comes to hockey.
It's a little different with women, though.
It's even better. It's even better.
It's the same rosters as the Worlds usually.
Yeah. Whereas you have the World Championships for men.
It's even good on good, not best on best.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Olympics, if NHL players go, which we'll get into that in a second, that makes it best on best. That's like 4 NHL All-Star teams, but it's not really like a fair advantage, but you get what I'm saying.
And some of these, women play in their respective leagues are still playing against each other. Like, there are definitely like Canadians who play in the women's hockey league.
Oh yeah,
who are on teams with Americans, and now they're on separate teams.
Yeah, it's like when Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane played against each other in the Olympics twice. So shout out to Team Canada. You hard fought battle. Team USA really on the come up. Women's hockey's done just as good in the US as men's. And both have taken major steps over the last 15, 20 years. And you love to see it. Every now and then Canada's going to get theirs, though, because they're freaking Canada.
Well, yeah, you really couldn't ask for a better way to end it, though, right? I mean, it's decided.
The GOAT scoring in overtime.
It's decided in overtime. Hello, Nick Wayne. Thanks for tuning in. It's decided in overtime. You really can't, get much closer. So to say that okay, Canada's just better now is no. Like we'll see what happens in 2022. I'm not saying Canada. Like, it's Canada and USA. Those are the two teams for women's hockey, especially. When you get into the men, there's some other countries that can make a claim, but it's always going to be, for now at least, Canada versus the USA in women's hockey.
Yep, and I love it. Hopefully we get to that with the men's too. And speaking of men's, you got some news you want to share? Suomi.
I don't even know how to properly say it. I want to say it's Suomi. Sumi.
I'm going to keep saying Suomi.
Yeah, I'm obviously a big Finland guy. I root for Finland, and I will be rooting for Finland again in 2022 when NHL players go and participate in the Beijing. Is that where it's at?
I think.
Beijing Winter Olympics. I think it's Beijing. Yeah, is that the news you were talking about?
Yeah. And I wanted you to tell that the players are going in groups and all that stuff.
Players are going. I don't know if we have
NHL players are going. Obviously, players are going.
Yeah, I sent you a picture of the groups. In Group A, we have. I really shouldn't even do this. I don't know all the flags, so you're better off pulling up the group.
Wait, I want to hear you say that again.
I don't know all the flags, and the picture I have is only flags.
You're unbelievable. I'm stunned with you, and I'm done with you. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, it looks.
Do you know all these flags?
Yeah, I do. Group A features Team Canada, Team USA, Team Germany, and Team China. Interesting seeing Team China involved, but the host all gets an automatic bid.
That's China?
Yeah. Group B. Are we calling them the Olympic athletes from Russia again?
Yes, that is. I knew that. That is definitely Russia.
Are they not Team Russia yet? They haven't been granted being. But that was for the one Olympics, I thought.
Because even during these recent Summer Olympics, they weren't Russian.
They were the Olympic athletes from Russia again?
And everyone was confused. And I'm like, yeah, don't you guys remember? I guess no one watched hockey as much as I did in the Olympics in 2018, but because the
Olympic
NHL
athletes from Russia in 2018 were sweet. They won the gold medal, but they were clearly the best team going in. That's crazy. I see a comment about buying Joey a map. How about just a flag directory or something like that?
Hold on. We're gonna put this graphic on the screen. I'm gonna do it in just a second here, so you can continue.
Yeah, so it looks like there's only one flag. I really don't know. Those Group B is obviously the Olympic athletes from Russia, and then you got the Czech Republic and the Team Swiss, which is exactly what we wanted here in the Parisi household, because when
we'll get more into that.
All right, yeah, we'll get more into that. I believe that is Team Belarus also in Group B with them. And then in Group C, you have Sweden, Finland, Slovakia, and Latvia. So that's kind of like each group has two powerhouses, except for Group B, because we're going to debate on who's the second best team in that group. But out of Canada, US, Germany, and China, what do you like?
Canada, without a question. Yeah, US is going to be good. I think for men, they still have a little bit ways to go to compete with Team Canada. I think that way about the whole tournament.
Team Canada can make two teams that could win gold.
Literally. There's going to be people who get left off of Team Canada who you can make a whole team out of those guys and they still would be just competitive with anyone else.
All right, here's the thing, though. I think Team USA is going to be better than people think just by virtue of having Matthews and Eichel as your 1-2 center combination. And if you're deep down the middle, you have a chance to win in the Olympics.
But the thing is, Team USA finally gets some young, NHL superstars. Like I'm talking the best of the best in Austin Matthews and Jack Eichel. Yes, Patrick Kane's already there. And I feel like Canada just counters that with getting Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon. Like,
Yeah.
USA can't catch a break. They finally get two up and coming young generational talents in Austin Matthews and Eichel, and the two guys that Canada gets are even better.
You're not wrong. I don't disagree with that. I think both Hughes brothers that are already in the NHL will play. And then you got the Kachucks this time around too. So Team USA is certainly going to be a lot better than they were in previous years, I would say. But so is Canada.
Yeah.
Someone like Taylor Hall probably won't make it. That's how good Canada is.
See, I think it all depends on how he does. If he's got 40 goals by the end of, or 40 goals by February is a stretch. So let's say he's got 37 goals, which is possible depending on how his line does, and 80 points. Let's say he's up there with Marchand. Comparable numbers with Brad Marchand. I would say it's a lock that Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron play on a line with Sidney Crosby. It was the best line we've ever seen in recent years.
World play.
Yeah, in recent years especially. If Taylor Hall has comparable numbers to Brad Marchand, there's no way he doesn't make the team. He's Taylor Hall.
Well, the thing Hall has is speed. And like he could play with McDavid and McKinnon, and that would be the fastest line in the history of the sport. And so when you could combine speed with skill, that might be part of just straight up roster construction rather than taking the best players too. So I could see Hall making it. Well, it'll be very interesting. It's deeper than you think. It's very deep.
And Germany being in that group kind of makes things also a little difficult. We saw how good Germany was in the Olympics when NHL players didn't go. Now you're adding
Draisaitl.
Yeah. Which
you don't even need. No, Pia Suter Swiss. There's another good German. I can't think of who it is.
You don't even need a huge list of players, but that's how much of a difference maker Leon Draisaitl is.
Yes, agreed. Group B. Group B has a clear dominant. It's the Olympic athletes from Russia. And then I do think the Swiss and the Czech Republic will battle for that second spot.
Yeah, the Olympic athletes of Russia is definitely going to walk away with that one. I mean, you just look at some of the Russian players in the NHL, and they're almost, and I'm going to say almost, right up there with USA and Canada.
I could at forward, they are up there with USA and Canada. Russia's default or fault will lie in goal and
no, not in goal.
They're not in goal. On defense. On defense, yeah, they have Vasilevsky. I know. On defense is where they might fall, but the forwards. We're previewing fantasy left wings in period 3. The best player on Team Russia might be the number 1 left wing in the NHL right now. And the number 1 right wing when we talk about next week. And they have a really good top line center who plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But I don't know, man. That's going to be a really good team. I like the Swiss to beat out the Czech Republic for that second spot and make it to the playoff round of the tournament.
Yeah, another German, by the way, is Dominic Kahun.
That's who I was thinking of. That's the big Kahun.
Yeah. I got a list of the current Russian players. It's sorted by active Russian players by points, I believe.
Yeah.
This list.
I'm assuming Evgeny Malkin, Artemi Panarin,
Alex Ovechkin,
Nikita Kucherov, Alex Ovechkin. Yep.
I mean, having Nikita Kucherov, like. When we talk about the Russian athletes, for some reason I just instantly think of Malkin and Ovechkin. I don't.
They're the two,
I guess
probably the two best Russians ever.
Mm-hmm. But now you throw Panarin and Kucherov into the mix.
I wonder if someone like Kovalchuk will play, or Gusev, or Datsuk.
You know who's also Russian? A nice up-and-coming young guy, born in 1997.
Svechnikov.
Yes, but not who I'm thinking of.
That Russian team is good.
Kirill Kaprizov.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about him heavily last
show. The Olympic athletes from Russia might win again.
They are good as
Screw Canada and the USA.
All right, the real question is, who would you say their backup goalie is?
Bobrovsky?
I'm looking. I have a take.
Lay it on me. going to be a stupid take.
It's not a stupid take. It's going to be 100% based off of the play leading up to it. So one guy could beat out the other guy. I'll give you the names in a second. Depending on how Varlamov could beat out this guy if he plays better, but right now I'm going with Anton Khudobin.
Ooh, well, they'll take all three probably.
Yeah, or you got Georgiev over in New York if he.
Yeah, I think it depends how much the Rangers use him. But when the Devils drop 50 on him this season, the Olympic Athletes from Russia committee is going to be like, yeah.
Samsonov is another one.
That's a good bet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good bet. I like Samsonov for sure.
But I think that's all for the third goalie because I honestly think I don't think Russia's going to do that to Bobrovsky. Regardless of how he's played in recent years in the NHL, he is still he's an amazing Russian goaltender, and I feel like he would make the team.
Yeah, it makes sense. Group C. Oh, before we cap off Group B, let's argue about Swiss versus Czech. You're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm right. All right, Group C. I'm just kidding.
No, you go into. What do you want to do first? This website is cool. If you haven't visited this website, it's called
Quanthockey.com.
.com.
It's like yellow.
No.
It's got like a yellowish beige background.
No, it's black on my screen. It's
Anyway,
it's awesome. I have a thing here. I can just click the country. I have all time. I could do active players. Anyway, let's go over to Switzerland for active players.
Read me the active Swiss goalies. That's where I'm.
Okay, hold on. I only have forwards right now.
That's where I'm worried about the Swiss team. So for those who don't know, me and Joey have a common debate going on right now, and it is perfect. I honestly think the Olympic Committee listens to this show and put the Czech Republic and the Swiss in the same group just to settle a debate between me and Joey. Because he thinks the Czech Republic are going to win. I think the Swiss would win. I like the Swiss better. I think they're deeper. And it's all led by New Jersey Devils captain Nico Hischier. I believe he will be an alternate captain on Team Swiss because Roman Josi, superstar from the Nashville Predators, will probably be their actual captain. But you got guys like Nino Niederreiter and Pius Suter. And there are just so many great Swiss players that have come through the league over the last couple of years. And I think they're going to smoke the Czech Republic, who have David Pastrnak, who is filthy. But we'll see what happens.
I think you're crazy. They have 12 current NHL players.
Who?
The Swiss.
Okay.
0 NHL goaltenders.
Okay.
5 defensemen.
Yep. One of them's Josi.
Below that, you got Nino Niederreiter, who is clearly not what he was last time the Swiss played in the Olympics.
Yeah, he's better.
Kevin Fiala, good. Timo Meier, good.
Timo Meier's awesome.
Nico Hischier, very good. I agree with you. He was their top line center.
Yep.
And then it's a huge, huge drop off.
Yep. And that top 6 is going to lead the Swiss to victory over the Czech Republic when they play, and then they're going to get smoked by the Olympic athletes from Russia.
You head over to the Czech Republic, you have a plethora of active players, 34 to be exact.
Yeah.
The leading Czech point scorer, Jakub Voracek, who just got paid, right? Or no, I'm thinking Sean Couturier.
He's in Columbus now.
I'm thinking Sean Couturier just got paid.
Couturier just got paid.
Yeah. David Krejci, who probably will play. I don't know if I kind of am, pulling back on my theory of him returning to the Bruins after that, but he will play in the Olympics because he signed with a team in Czech. He's playing the whole season. There's no way he doesn't go play for the Czech Republic in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Which is almost making me root for the Czech over Finland. I don't know. I'll get to that in a minute. Maybe this will be the year of the Czech for me. David Pastrnak, obviously. Andre Palat, Tomas Hertl, Jacob Verana, Pavel Zacha. I didn't know he was Czech.
Oh, yeah. He might not make that team.
Yeah. Kubalik. I guess Andre Kasha, if he's healthy.
Yeah, it's a good team. The Swiss are going to win. It's a deeper team.
Here's what I'll say. The Swiss have a better defense based on NHL. I don't know what goes on in the KHL.
Yeah, true. You're very true. Like, they also might play a better team game. The Swiss are very structured. They play the right way. You could see it. The reason I'm not just saying this because like Nico's there. I'm saying it because of like evidence that I have, right? So when I watched the World Juniors last competition in 2020 and 2019 was probably a better barometer because of the fact that it wasn't in a bubble and all that crap. But the Swiss play hard every game. Every game is close no matter what the rosters are. Nico Hischier almost willed them to a victory. Team USA won in overtime over the Swiss 3-2. Nico had both goals. That's Team USA team ended up going on to win the gold. They were significantly better than the Swiss on paper, but the Swiss play hard. And if they get what they need from their top guys, they have a chance to win no matter what. There are 5 teams I think would smoke them: Russia, USA, Canada, Finland, Sweden. Other than that, I like the way the Swiss are structured and the way they play their game.
Yeah, and Kubalik is Czech. I actually didn't know he was Czech. He guarantee he would make this team.
Yeah, 100%.
You're saying if the Swiss get, the production from their top guys. Well, what if the Czech get production from their top guys? Now you just got one of the best goal scorers in the world being productive.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge advantage in goaltending. I mean, the NHL is the hardest. It's the biggest stage of league play. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone in the NHL is like better than better than players in the KHL.
The best way to put it is, do you know how good you have to be at hockey to suck in the NHL?
Exactly. So with that being said, there are currently 5 active goaltenders who are Czech Republic natives.
You're about to name 5 dog meat guys, and that's why you started it off by saying.
No, I'm saying that the Swiss doesn't even have an NHL goalie. Is what the reason I said that. Because I'm very happy if my goaltending trio is Peter Mrazek, David Rittich, and Vitek Vanacek. Very happy with that.
Yeah, 100%. Vanacek would probably start.
Exactly. Even there, Peter Mrazek.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's not even David Rittich because he's been very mediocre as of late. Maybe they give a young guy like Dan Vladar.
Yeah, that's possible.
So
certainly is possible. It's going to be a fun duel. Like,
I know. I feel like the fact that it's these 2 teams that we're both kind of fans of and arguing about, they're almost equal, but I just think Czech has the edge.
That's fair, and I'm happy they're in the same group. I really am. And speaking of groups,
who's at the bottom of that group, by the way?
I want to say it's Belarus.
So you don't even know.
I'm 90% sure it's Belarus. So, here. Not Belarus.
It's definitely not Belarus. I don't even know what Belarus is.
Belarus has been in this tournament 1,000 times. Anyway, Group C. I don't think Slovakia has a chance. I think the Swiss and the Czechs are better.
Yeah, I agree.
But Finland and Sweden, they can each win gold, and they're going to dominate group play in Group C.
The Slovakians have 1 active goaltender left, and it's Yaroslav Halak.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Leading the way in points, though. Yeah, it sucks. Without Hossa and Gabrick, like, this team used to be up there for me. Now the highest point scoring player in the NHL active
is Chara.
Zdeno Chara.
A freaking defenseman who's 42.
44 now.
44. Shit.
I know. Don't forget, as you get older, he gets older.
Yeah, I forgot. It's not like that one movie where it's like talking. Never mind.
Belarus is a type of sausage. See, I knew it wasn't a country.
Yeah, no, Belarus is a country, and they make it to the hockey Olympics most of the time.
Some notable names.
China might have taken their spot. The host team always gets to play.
Yeah, I don't. China.
It's going to be interesting to see
pull
Team
up-
Canada
I'll
play.
pull up- Yeah.
Like, what is Connor McDavid going to do to that decor?
Why would we put them in that group?
I mean,
Let's just put China with two of the best teams in the tournament.
every group, though, except Group B, has 2 gold medal contenders.
Yeah. We'll get to the other two in this another huge rivalry that I'm super excited for.
Probably my third favorite world rivalry. My favorite is USA Canada. My second favorite is USA Russia. My third favorite is freaking Sweden Finland.
Real
Hello.
quick, Tomas Tatar, Andrei Sekera, Richard Panik, Thomas Yurko, all notable names from Slovakia and the current NHL, which not what it used to be. I'm a little out on Slovakia.
I would like to know what you think between Finland and Sweden.
So the thing with that, and I will be the first guy to admit it, Finland has always been the little brother country. They never get it done versus Sweden, and it breaks my heart every single year. Every time I watch these countries go at it on international play, it's always my favorite player in the entire world, Tuukka Rask, manning the net and losing to the Swedish, and it breaks my heart. With that being said, Lundqvist is gone. And Lundqvist plays so damn good every time he plays for international play.
I'm about to rain on your parade. Is he gone?
He's gone. He retired
Retiring
from the NHL.
from the NHL does not mean he won't play. The only thing, though, is it's probably health related that he retired.
He retired because his
heart
he wanted to
condition.
play for Washington so bad. He had open heart surgery. He did
Yeah.
everything he can to try and come back. He said it's not worth it. He's retiring from hockey. There is 0% chance Henrik Lundqvist plays for Team Sweden.
Fair enough.
With that being said, Robin Leonard, Jacob Markstrom, I guess you can say Allmark. Oh, I might have to root for a Bruin for Sweden. What if it's Allmark versus Rask? Ooh,
That'd be sick.
that's a very real thing.
With Finland, you have something you never had. They've had it, but like lately, a super duper star top line center. And I'm talking about Barkov. That guy is filthy. And he gives the Finns a good chance to be extra competitive in this tournament.
Yes, there are 50 players currently in the NHL native of Finland.
Yeah, they're going to field a good team.
That's good.
Wrap it up by picking who you think would win a head-to-head. Because I think we're in agreement that they're going to finish 1 and 2 in the group. So one will be 2-1, the other will be 3-0. Who you got?
Let me just pull up the forward group.
Oh, come on. You know them already.
Okay, so Sweden has the edge in defensemen.
Yes. They've had the edge over defensemen over Canada before.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying this is Finland's time to beat the big brother.
I agree.
They have the edge in goaltending. They have the young talent up front. Now more developed Sebastian Aho and Teuvo Teravainen, not to mention Sasha Barkov that you said.
Yep.
Patrick Laine seems to
Yep.
play well on the Olympic stage, or international play stage. I think it's without a question Team Finland. If they can, put together a good defense to match up with, Erik Karlsson, Victor Hedman, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, John Klingberg. Like, there's some great NHL defensemen who are going to be playing for Team Sweden, but I'm taking Finland this year, especially if Tuukka Rask is in net.
I agree with you. I think they're the third best team in the tournament. I do. I got Canada, USA, Finland as my power ranking right now. Olympic athletes of Russia 4.
I might have the Olympic athletes of Russia over USA.
No shot, dude. They're adding Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, the Kachuk brothers, Eichel, Matthews.
Cale Makar and Charlie McAvoy could make it.
And McAvoy. Team USA is damn good.
We'll see. I
just convinced you. I just made you flip Adelphia right in front of the people's eyes.
I didn't flip.
Everyone
Adelphia.
saw Joey flip right before your eyes. You just saw it. Play the flip sound.
I didn't flip Adelphia. It all depends on the rosters when they come up.
Well,
We could speculate all we want. There's going to be snubs. Don't forget, they're not just picking the best players. These people put the teams together based off of the system that they're going for.
Well, the Zach Parisis of the world, the Max Pacioretty's of the world, the TJ Oshie's of the world, those guys, the Phil Kessels of the world, those guys are done. See you later. No more Olympics for you guys. We're gonna bring in Jack Hughes, Brady Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel.
You don't think Joe Pavelski makes it?
No, I don't.
Really? He was their captain last time.
Their top line was Parise, Kane, Pavelski.
Blake
All
Wheeler?
three of them might not. Patrick Kane will make
Blake
it.
Wheeler? TJ Oshie?
No to both.
Pacioretty
Kane
for
will
sure.
make it.
Pacioretty.
No shot. No shot.
Pacioretty?
Nope.
Pacioretty was better than Ovechkin this year, and you're going to tell me he's not going to make it? Go look at their stats. I am not going to argue this with you. Max Pacioretty had comparable numbers this season to Alex Ovechkin.
I thought I was done with shit like this.
You know it. Max Pacioretty will make Team USA. How can you say he will not?
He was better than who?
He was just as productive as Alex Ovechkin.
You're sick.
Go look at the numbers.
I don't care.
I do.
But I don't even know what to say. You did something that most people can't do, and that's get me to be speechless. You're saying you put Max Pacioretty in the same sentence as Alex Ovechkin with a straight face, and you don't even feel a little sorry about it?
Do I need to pull up their stats for this? I said this season.
Is Ovechkin going to make Team Russia?
No, he'll make the Olympic athletes from Russia.
Pacioretty will not make Team USA.
Okay, and I can't wait to clip this. I might even do it after the show. Max Pacioretty.
We have an 11-hour car ride ahead of us in the next hour.
Yeah.
So you'll have time.
I can't believe that you can look at Max Pacioretty's recent years, especially in Vegas, and tell me he is not capable of making the Olympic roster for Team USA.
I do not think he will make it as of right now.
I don't understand.
I'm still flabbergasted about the Ovechkin comment. Like, even if they were like within a couple goals of each other, to say he had the impact that Ovechkin had, you disrespectful human being, you.
Real quick, by the way, when I said that there's 50 players for Finland in the NHL, there's way more than that. I just realized the page. There's multiple pages.
It only goes. I believe that. It wouldn't surprise me if there was like 100.
Yeah, if I said a number less than 50, it was accurate. But if I said 50, which I think I only said it for Finland, it's just because there's multiple pages and it only shows 50 at a time. Because I just realized it goes down to 50. It's Matt Nieto, number 50. I'm like, there's way more than 50 Americans in the NHL.
Yeah. Well, how many players are in the NHL? Like 800?
I couldn't tell you. It's close to 1,000. Yeah.
It's probably up north of 100, 150 Finland players, I would guess.
Max Pacioretty is the 9th leading point scorer for Americans in the NHL, and this dude is not going to make the Olympics.
Yeah, I bet Phil Kessel, Wheeler, and Parise are ahead of him.
They are.
And they're not making it.
They're not as good. Go look at Max Pacioretty's numbers. He could have had a 40-goal year if it was a full season.
You're talking about, okay, this year, yeah, he had a great year. What about last year?
He was great the year before. He's been one of Vegas's best players. Him and Mark Stone are running that team.
I guess we'll have to.
Is Mark Stone?
I don't see a spot for Pacioretty on Team USA.
Is Mark Stone Canadian or American? He's got to be Canadian. Right?
He'll play for Team Canada. You can't give me any offensive numbers though on him. That is irrelevant to me.
If you think Mark Stone's going to make Team Canada, who's way deeper,
Mark Stone's not making Team Canada to score goals.
It doesn't matter. Team Canada is so deep. We just agreed that they are going to be able to field a competitive roster with players that get cut off the team. Yet you think Mark Stone is going to make it over Max Pacioretty on America, who's not as deep?
Yes, because Team Canada's obsessed with building a hockey team more than a superstar team. They will want Mark Stone for when they take a penalty, for when they need to protect a 1-goal lead late in the third. They're taking guys like Stone for that reason. They're not looking to Stone to score goals like Vegas does. Stone can score goals like that, but they got Connor McDavid. They got freaking Nathan McKinnon. They're not looking to Mark Stone for that kind of stuff.
Well, guys, 5 minutes each for fighting.
That took way longer than I would have ever imagined in this episode so far. When you glance at your jersey, it looks like Team Finland has a slice of pizza chilling on the jersey.
I actually have a shirt with this logo only on it that I'm gonna bust out.
Hell yeah, that's really cool.
I can't believe I cannot wait for these rosters. I cannot wait. Max Pacioretty is an Olympian. I'm getting a Max he's my USA guy this year.
If Tkachuk, both of them, play on a line with Jack Hughes, will you think it's funny to call them the Jack Ass line?
Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to look forward to with this year's 2022 Olympics. I'm so happy NHL players are going because it was fun to experience it without NHL players. It was competitive. I enjoyed watching it. Brian Giunta was the captain. The come up of Ryan Donato in that Olympics earned him the contract, and with Boston, or eventually him being able to go and play. It was honestly like really cool, but the fact that now we got our NHL guys going, it's going to make it 10 times better.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait. We're going to dive into so much Olympic stuff as the shows go on here. We're out of time for the second period. I promise we'll get more into World Talk. Me and Joey, there's going to be a lot more screaming at each other over World competition because we disagree with each other on World competition more than NHL competition, I would say.
Yeah.
And you guys will get to see me win lots of debates over Joey in that field. I'm sure he feels the opposite, probably, right?
Yeah.
Go Max Pacioretty. Woo! Vegas, woo! We'd like, really quick, Patrick Sharp, coach, University of Vermont. He played there from 2000 to 2002. He's now going to be a coaching advisor there starting this season. Obviously, NBC Sports is no longer carrying hockey starting now. He didn't sign on with ESPN or TNT. Quick thoughts on that beautiful, beautiful man, Patrick Sharp.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he would sign with ESPN just because I thought when he joined that NBC team, it added an element that no one else ever brought to it. There's nothing bad to say about Patrick Sharp, so I kind of wish we were able to still watch him on TV. But good for him because teaching the youth.
He'll be back.
Hockey.
It was one of the first times like a star from our time watching retired and played on TV, being guys in our mid 20s. So when somebody who's a little older sees Mike Milbury or Keith Jones on the TV, like, oh, I saw Keith Jones play for the Flyers in the late 90s. Well, we didn't have that. We only knew Keith Jones as, an analyst. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Patrick Sharp. Good luck to him at Vermont. And with that, we'd like to send you over to period number 3, where we will serenade you with some fantasy hockey. And where'd Joey go? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Fantasy hockey. The left wings they're right there with most important forward. Obviously, the center is the most important forward position. 2 weeks ago, we went over the goaltending position in terms of fantasy hockey. This last week, we covered the defenseman. It's a little more cut and dry with those positions because of the lack of depth. There aren't more than 30 guys you'd want as your starting goalie in the world of fantasy hockey, but you're always going to have 30 or 15 to 25 guys drafted, depending on the size of your league. And it's a lot different with the forwards. Every position forward-wise is deep, and me and Joey here in a minute are going to get into left wings in the NHL. We're going to discuss the elite left wings that exist, the sleeping NHL left wingers, you would call them sleepers. I can't talk. And then, of course, there's the mid-tier guys that help you win and lose championships in fantasy hockey. And Joey might be the least fun person to discuss fantasy hockey with because all he does is grab the stupid trophy and pretend to be drinking out of it, but you don't have the balls to pour something into it right now and drink it out of it. So you're still muted. Nobody can hear you. and thank goodness for that.
I've won this thing so many damn times that I've asked you if I can, and you tell me no, don't drink out of it. So you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna drink out of it. My trophy. I don't care who the commissioner is.
They call me the mean one.
My
I'm the mean one? What?
My trophy. Win this thing 4 times out of 7 years, and then you can fucking not drink out of it.
The one time I won it, I beat you.
That means I've been to the finals 5 times.
You have never won it over me.
You've only won it once.
Over you.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, well, talk to the people about left wings.
Left wings.
I have. Do you want me to name what they have as top left wingers in the NHL right now? Because there are some big names.
Yes, let's hear it.
Well, number 1, as of right now, is Artemi Panarin, New York Rangers left winger, former Columbus Blue Jacket and Chicago Blackhawk. He is part of the single worst trade made in the history of the Chicago Blackhawks, I think. And number 2 is Alex Ovechkin. Number 3 is Brad Marchand. Number 4 is Andrei Svechnikov, who can also play right wing in fantasy. And same thing with Matthew Tkachuk, who rounds out the top 5. And you got somebody like Jonathan Huberdeau is listed. Taylor Hall is listed. They got Claude Giroux as a center left wing. Guys like Alexis Lafreniere and Kirill Kaprizov are, some of the younger guys who you never know what you're going to get from. Alex DeBrincat from the Chicago Blackhawks is probably a little higher on some people's boards than he has been in recent years past. So left wings, deep position.
It is very deep. The best left wing that you can take, it's not close, is Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins. I don't care how biased it makes me seem. This guy, no matter what season it is always ranked, sometimes even number 1. Sometimes he outbeats Connor McDavid. Sometimes he outbeats Leon Draisaitl. He is up there in fantasy hockey for many reasons as a top valuable player. Not just points. He can get 100 points. He might be 20 behind Connor McDavid, but he'll get 100 points. Even if he only gets 80, he gets penalty minutes. He gets game-winning goals. He's the best shorthanded productive player in the NHL currently. He does it all. He plays on the power play. He is the ultimate package when talking about a fantasy hockey forward. There might not be a more valuable all-around player to take position-wide. You want points, you're going to get McDavid. You want power play goals, go with Ovechkin. If you want everything, Brad Marchand is the guy.
Are you done?
I'm done, and you can't disagree with it.
I want to clown you. I want to make fun of you. I want to say you don't deserve that trophy because you keep getting lucky that one of my guys get hurt and I get bounced from the playoffs before you play me. But you're right. Everything you said is spot on. Brad Marchand is the best fantasy hockey winger in the league. He's one of the best wingers in the league. I would put him right there with Ovechkin, Kucherov, Panarin, you name them. Some of those guys are right wings, but you get my point. I believe Brad Marchand is worthy of being the 4th overall pick in fantasy hockey. I got McDavid 1. We'll get into centers next week, but I got McDavid 1, Matthews 2, McKinnon 3. I think those are the consensus top 3 in most people's opinions. Every now and then you'll get an outlier who likes to be a contrarian, but it's fair to say that Brad Marchand should be a top 5 fantasy hockey pick for everything you just said. Penalty minutes, power play, penalty kill, like shorthanded points, goals, assists, plus minus, shots on goal. He pumps out a poop ton. He plays on the best line in the National Hockey League with David Pastrnak and Patrice Bergeron. So I agree. Brad Marchand, best fantasy hockey left winger. Do you have any sleepers you want to give to the people?
I got a big one.
Do they play for the Bruins?
Pacioretty.
Oh.
Had
Max Pacioretty?
a comparable season to Alex Ovechkin if not better. I know he was ranked better. He had probably just as many goals. I don't know the exact numbers. Max Pacioretty for the Vegas Golden Knights is a great pick. He kills penalties. He's productive. Him and Mark Stone are probably the second best penalty killing duo in the league. And he's on the power play. What more can you ask for? He's on a winning team. He's going to get you the game winners. Max Pacioretty is an incredible left wing to take.
I couldn't agree more. And
but he's
if
not,
I'm,
but he's not an Olympian.
Yeah, I think Team USA is probably too deep, but we'll see what happens. I'm looking at other left wingers. I would consider somebody like Alex DeBrincat worthy of a pick. I would look at him this season. If Kirill Kaprizov starts the season with the Minnesota Wild, I like that as a pick. And I think Taylor Hall is going to have an outstanding season with the Boston Bruins in a full season, with a training camp, with everything that is known to help NHL forwards be better at their craft. Those are my guys for this season. And
I didn't want to say Taylor Hall. I didn't want to go back-to-back Bruins because then you would just clown me for it. So I kind of waited to see if you would mention Taylor Hall.
No, I never am gonna be like that about the Bruins because the Bruins are just good. Every ounce of shit you talk is pretty much valid. Anybody who makes fun of you or tries to argue with you, they're just gonna end up sounding like an idiot. So why? There are some people who root for some teams that get to just be trolls because that team is so good, and the Boston Bruins are one of them. It's not like I'm sitting here going, you need to take so-and-so on the New Jersey Devils because they're the best. Like, they're guys who really certainly could reach that potential. I think they have a top 5 defenseman. We talked about that last week. But, I mean, everything you say about the Bruins is spot on. So when you talk about Taylor Hall, that's fine. There's a couple sleepers I wanted to mention. And Philadelphia Flyers fans will appreciate this. I believe Joel Farabee will be a top 50 NHL left wing this season. And if you're looking for someone to draft somewhat in the mid rounds for your left wing offense, I think he has superstar potential playing over there in Philly. And then, of course, I really like Tim Stützle. He's left winger for the Ottawa Senators. He was one of the best rookies last season. And he was definitely the best rookie from his draft class last season. He didn't win the Calder Trophy because a couple older guys, ended up being in the mix, talking about guys like Kirill Kaprizov and Robertson in Dallas. Those guys had a little more time to develop. Stützle was 18 and he did what he did. So leading the Ottawa Senators, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that guy this season. He's definitely worthy of your fantasy hockey selection.
Yeah, those are great sleepers. Another sleeper I was seeing if you were going to say is the guy who didn't play last year, Jonathan Drouin. Especially if Montreal is, as productive as they were last year. If they're, guys like Tyler Toffoli, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield are playing good, they're going to have a good power play, and Jonathan Drouin's going to be a part of it all. So I think he's going to have some value over at the left wing position as well.
Quick thoughts on Kyle Palmieri extending with the New York Islanders?
I'm kind of not surprised. I'm surprised it took this long. But yeah, when he came over at the deadline last year, I guess it was a little pre-deadline. It was the first move to happen before the deadline week. It kind of was a perfect fit, and he showed that right from the beginning, scoring goals on the Bruins literally that next week, and then showing up in the playoffs against Pittsburgh specifically, and then continuing it against Boston, and gave an amazing run for them. So I'm not surprised one bit that they're going to implement Kyle Palmieri into their plan moving forward.
For sure. I love Kyle Palmieri. I always will. He played for the Devils for a long time, and he was probably their most consistent player throughout his entire tenure here. Taylor Hall won the MVP in a stretch, and Nico Hischier and Jack Hughes have grown big time, but the most consistent player in his time there was Kyle Palmieri. And it's really cool to see Anthony Beauvillier, Casey Cizikas, and Ilya Sorokin sign multi-year deals as well. The Islanders are going to be right back in the mix next season. And if they're in Game 7 against Tampa in the Eastern Conference Championship next year again, or Florida, or Boston, or any of the other top teams in the Eastern Conference, Washington, Pittsburgh, if they're going up against the Islanders at any point, I would be 0% surprised. That team is deep and good and committed to winning.
Absolutely. I agree.
So, great show. Great debate. You don't know jack shit about world hockey, but you'll learn. Your teacher, Vinny, will teach you.
The only thing we agreed on is that Finland has a chance to beat the big brother Sweden this year. So we're gonna just have to, root for that together. But the fact that you think
No, I made you flip on Team USA. I won that debate. That was a clear victory.
there's not a debate there.
Anyone who judged Russia versus Team USA debate between us,
There wasn't a debate though. I still think that it goes Canada. I want to say Russia. I think Russia can beat the USA roster. I'm sorry.
All right, you're not loyal to McAvoy and Cale Makar. That's okay. I'll be better fans of Cale Makar.
That's not true because I'm gonna root for them. I just think the depth on Russia is gonna be better.
Shout out to Atlanta.
It makes everything you said invalid. If Canada plays, or not Canada, I'm sorry. If the USA plays Russia in an important game, whether it be a medal game, an elimination game, and if Max Pacioretty's on that fucking team, and if he does something in that game winner goal, you have to eat your shirt.
All right, I could do that. Shout out to Atlanta.
Yes, we have a very fun trip ahead of us. Tell us a little bit about what we'll be doing. You know way more than I do. All I know is for the next 11 hours or so, starting in 30 minutes here, where I will be in a car.
Yes, we are headed to Georgia. We're going to see Northern Illinois University Huskies play against Georgia Tech in Georgia. So that's going to be really fun Saturday night. And there's a 50-50 chance that we see the University of Alabama play against the U, Miami, to open the college football season at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. That's where they're playing this week's game. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see if that actually goes down, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and as always, be sure to tune in tomorrow to our show, Crosstown Crosstalk, where we'll be coming to you live from Atlanta, and we're looking forward to that. We have a cool interview lined up with the Chicago Cubs' very own Brennan Davis.
Yep, Brendan Davis, #1 prospect in the Cubs organization. So if you're looking to talk some baseball, make sure you tune in tomorrow at 2 o'clock. For @Joey Parisi on Twitter, I'm @Vinny Parisi on Twitter. Thank you for listening.